uh, distributions, probability distributions. So we will realize that there are basically two types. One is the discrete and the other is the continuous. Discrete are those in which the outcomes, remember the thing, the outcomes are discrete like 1, 2, 3, 4. In continuous, the outcomes are not discrete. Okay. So in a discrete distribution, one of the distributions is known as the Bernoulli distribution. Bernoulli distribution states that there will be only two possibilities. In every outcome, there are only two possibilities. The two possibilities are either it's, for example, we call it one is success, and if one is success, the other would be failure. And the sum of probability of those two of success and failure should be equal to 1. Okay. So Bernoulli distribution is the one which gives this thing. A further refinement you can call of Bernoulli leads us to binomial distribution. Binomial distribution basically tells the same thing, that there will be discrete outcomes which is equivalent to n discrete outcomes. Okay. And the other thing is that there will be some probability that is of success. We call it success, or of happening, or of each and everything, but we call it mostly success. So in short, binomial distribution has two variables. So we can write it in the form x is following bin binomial n comma p. N is the number of trials. Okay, number of trials it has been happening. P is the probability of success. So this thing is this. For example, let's have a look at some of the questions. If I say, if I say that okay, so if I say that I throw the ball, or if I say, for example, let's have a look. If I say the probability of hitting a dart successfully in the center is like 0.3, right? And I threw the ball or threw the dart 5 times. What's the probability? What's the probability that exactly on 3 outcomes, exactly on 3 outcomes, I managed to succeed and hit the dart? So the question is clearly asking that out of the 5 times I am throwing, I am able to hit the dart on 3 outcomes. So now the first thing that we have to realize is to first of all find out that what is n and what is p. N is given to us, that is 5. P is given to us, that is 0.3. So x is following binomial. N is 5 comma 0.3. Okay, later on we will be also doing the mean and the variance, but till now just this. Okay, now how to find the probability? This is one more thing. we say one thing. We say that out of 5, only 3 outcomes are that we are hitting the dot, right? So we have devised a formula that say NCR. R is the number of trials that the success is happening. R is that number of trials. So if it is that, we would be saying P. P is the probability of success. If this NCR, then P is the happening of success. So probability of P, that is success, would be given the power of R multiplied with the power of Q. Q would be, if N is the total number of outcomes, then the number of times that success is not happening is N minus R. So we can also call it the failure. Number of times the failure is happening is N minus R. So Q, that is the probability of failure, we would be giving it N minus R power. Similarly, what is Q? So we should be aware that P plus Q is equivalent to 1. So Q is basically equivalent to 1 minus P. Therefore, in many books, you would also see that NCR, they write P into R into Q, and instead of Q, they write 1 minus P. So that like makes it easier to memorize as well, into N minus R. So similarly over here, we are asked to find that exactly on 3 of the outcomes a dart is hit. So the first step that you have to do is to find Q. Q is equals to 1 minus P, that is equivalent to 1 minus 0.3, that is equivalent to 0.7. Next, on the outcomes, on 2 outcomes, the failure is taking place. So I would be writing, instead of N, I would be writing 5. C, 3. It will always be, yes, this will always be the number of times the success will take place. If success is hitting the dart, this is this. If success is not hitting the dart, then that would have been the other one. Probability of P is 0.3 power 3. Then we have Q. We have already find out Q, that is 0.7. And 5 minus 3 is equivalent to 2. These two would sum up to, n, right? So these two would also sum up to n, and these two would sum up to 1. These two would sum up to 1. These two, the numbers would sum up to n. Okay, now 5C3, 0.3 power 3 into 0.7 power 2, and the answer would be there. Now, another type of question that is often asked and one should be prepared for is, for example, if it says, if the question asks that you hit the ball or you hit the dart at least once. So, one should be able to translate this, that is equivalent to x is greater than equals to 1. If 1 is included, we could have been able to find this. First of all, 1 plus p of x is equals to 2 plus p of x is equals to 3 plus p of x equals to 4 plus p of x equals to 5. And this is another method, or another way could have been, since there are 5 outcomes, so we would have said that if I subtract from the whole, the probability of p of x is equals to 0, I would be able to find this complete probability of this. So one more way of representing this would be this, and we would be following this because it's much more easier. So our first step would be to first of all find the probability of x is equal to 0. So 5 C 0, that would give us 0.3 power 0. Any number power 0 is 1, and that would be giving us 0.7 power 5. So our final answer would be 0.7 power 5. So the answer is coming 0.168. But is it solving the answer? No, because we have to subtract this part from 1. So in order to find our answer, what we have to do, we have to subtract this part from 1. So our final answer would be 1 minus 0.168, and that is equivalent to 0.83. This is our final answer. So this leads us to a few assumptions which are for the binomial distribution, or few characteristics what we call. The first is that the trials are happening. So these are some of the characteristics, you call it, of binomial distribution. First, there are n number of trials or outcomes. The second is you have only two possible outcomes. You call it success and failure, P and Q. Third is that P plus Q should sum up to 1. And then the fourth one, which is important, it says that the probability of success in any trial is independent of outcomes of previous trials. These are some of the characteristics of the binomial distribution. So looking at this question, when people visit a certain large shop, on average 34% of them do not buy. So 34% no buy, 53% spend less than $50, and 13% spend at least greater than equals to $50. So the first part says that 15 people visiting the shop are choosing at random. Calculate the probability that at least 14 of them buy something. Okay. So 14 of them buy something. Now, this is a bit of trick question because it requires that they buy something, right? So if I divide it into two parts, no buy and buy something. So the probability of not buying is given to us 0.34 or 34%. So it would be of buying something 1 minus 0.34, that is equivalent to 0.66. Okay. So this is the first thing that we have to do. Okay. Then it says that 15 people are visiting. So X is following normal distribution, or sorry, binomial. The number of trials are 15, n comma p. What is p? Calculate the probability that at least buy something. So of buying, it means that this 0.66 is the probability of success. So considering this, we would proceed further. The question is asking at least 14 of them buy something. So we would be saying probability x is greater than equals to 14. So it means that if there are total number of 15 outcomes, so it means P of x is equals to 14 plus P of x is equals to 50. These are the only two outcomes possible, so it's easier for us. So we would be saying 15 C 14.66 power 14 and 0.34 power 1, because these should add up to 15. Similarly, second 15 C 15, and this is 0.66 15. So the other is 1, or if you want to write it, you can write it as well. Any number having power 0 is 1. And adding the two values, we would get to 0.0171 to three significant figures. Okay, next. Point 2. N is the number of people visiting the shop are chosen. Right? So now the reason why I choose this question as well, because this is a bit of tricky question and perhaps expected for the exams as well. So it says that number of people chosen is n. So we are not known that how many people are visiting. Okay. Next is the probability that none of them spends at least $50. So it says that none of them spends at least $50. If we look over here, at least $50 probability is 13 or 0.13. So we would be saying that people who spend at least $50 is equivalent to 13% or 0.13. Then similarly, those who do not is equivalent to 1 minus 0.13, and this is equivalent to 0.87. Now the question is saying the probability that none of them spends at least $50. So none of them spends at least $50. It means that this is the probability of x is equals to 0. This was the trick part, right? And this is how much less than 0.04. So I am writing less than 0.04. And considering this, what we would be doing, we would write the probability n c 0 into 0.130. This is 1, this is 1, multiplied with 0.87, and this is n, is less than 0.04. Taking this further, 0.87 n less than 0.04. We would be taking logs on both sides. Taking logs would be n log 0.87 less than log 0.04 divided by, in order to find n, I would be doing log 0.04 upon log 0.87. Log 0.04 using the calculator, I would be getting minus 1.3979, and log 0.87 is somewhat minus 0.06048. Minus minus cancelled, and the answer is coming. N is, since
23.1.
yep, so n should be greater. I would be changing the sign because this is being divided with a minus. So n is greater than 23.1, and the first value or the smallest value right after 23 is 24. So n is equivalent to 20. Two other formulas for binomial is, if we want to find E of x for every distribution, the moments are important, right? Later on you will study what are the moments. Okay. The first moment is expectation. The second moment is the variance. The third is the skewness. And the fourth is the kurtosis. But for us, we just have to be aware of expectation and the variance. And similarly, if we have the variance, we can find the standard deviation easily. So expectation is n into p, right? So that is number of trials multiplied by p. Similarly, the variance is n into p into q. And as we recall, what is q? 1 minus p. So we can write it in this form. These are the two formulas which we have to use in binomial. Let's have a look at this question. Have you opened this question?
Yes.
Okay. If we look at this question, question number 7, June 2017, 62, and this is it. Okay. If we look at part 3, they are saying that there are 45 days in a school. Holidays show that the variance of the number of days Khalid rides on his skateboard, variance of skateboard is similar to the variance of bicycle. So you don't even have to do anything. It's pretty simple. So it simply says, okay, so X is following binomial distribution. Why binomial? Because number of school holidays is pretty large. Okay. So we have a probability that either rides on his bicycle with a probability. So first of all with bicycle. So bicycle success or P is given 0.6, and for skateboard P is giving 0.4. So what would be Q? Q would be 1 minus 0.4, 0.6, and that is why that, and similarly Q is equals to 0.4. So similarly the N is the same, the P and Q are the same. So once we will calculate the variance which is in a binomial is N into P into Q, that is 45 into 0.6 into 0.4 would be giving us this value. 10.8 would be the same for both. It says that find the probability that Khalid rides on his skateboard. Now the important part is that the skateboard is now the probability of success, and that is equivalent to 0.4. So the probability of failure P would be 1 minus 0.4, that is equivalent to 0.6. So at least 2 of the 10 randomly chosen holidays. So it is P of x is greater than equals to 2. If we go from here, so it would be from 2 to probability of x is equals to 10. That would have been made it much more difficult. Otherwise, we could have simply done 1 minus probability of x is equals to 0 plus probability of x is equals to 1. The problem arises is that often students forget this part, that you also have to incorporate p of x is equals to 0. Because it's not giving us a 0 value, it's giving us some value. Okay, so the final answer would be 1 minus this. And if how many outcomes are there? 10 outcomes, because they are saying that randomly selected 10. So n is equals to 10 in this part. Now another thing, that in part 3 you were saying that there were 45, now this has been changed. Yes, because only 10 are being asked. So these are some of the slight changes that the examiner has done. Okay, this is 0, this becomes 0.6, and that would be 10 because these two should add up to n, plus 10 C1 0.41, 0.69, 1 minus, if we add this would be 0.6 power 10, and we are getting 0.04636, and subtracting this from 1 we are getting 0.9536, which is approximately equal to 0.95